Disney announced the remake of 2002's Lilo and Stitch 6 years ago. Since then, more news has continued to drop regarding the remake. Now, we have the first look, which appears great and similar to the animation, with some changes that only fit into the live action. Disney has produced many live-action remakes of its classic animations, including films like Snow White and The Lion King. However, bringing the live action of Lilo and Stitch to life wasn't an easy journey due to many delays caused by COVID-19. The writers and actors' strikes and recasting some of the characters they initially thought had been finalized before being able to get into production. Many production changes were made during this phase regarding the crew working on the remake. In the early stages of production, Mike Van Wees was responsible for writing the script for the live action of Lilo and Stitch. But in the end, Chris Kekaniokalani took over the script writing and ended up being the person behind the script used in the Lilo and Stitch remake production. When it came to the film's direction, John M. Chu was the first choice but had to drop out because of his busy schedule, where he had to work on Wicked. Eventually, Dean Fleischer Camp became the director for the remake, and the production started with the filming in the spring of 2023. But unfortunately, another delay further set the production backward after a costume trailer caught fire. It wasn't until February 2024 that they resumed filming and wrapped up in March of the same year. However, despite all of the setbacks with the strikes and fire at the time, the remake of Lilo and Stitch has come a long way, and now the first look shows how much work and dedication has been poured into the production as we explore it all. With a live-action remake, it's easy to expect some twists and probably turns that weren't included in the animation but could be explored in reality. Despite this, the remake strictly sticks to the original animation theme as the first look revealed. The story remains the same. It is about a young Hawaiian girl, Lilo, who has lived with her older sister, Nani, since their parents became deceased. But despite being a young and vibrant girl, Lilo gets super lonely since she doesn't have many friends in her age group to play with. Due to her loneliness, Nani thought a dog would be lovely, so they went to a local animal shelter to adopt him. Interestingly, instead of a regular dog, they adopted Stitch, whom Lilo loved straight away despite being an alien experiment created and trained for mass destruction. In the first look, we saw Lilo in the remake, who is around the same age as the character in the animation. We also got to see Stitch, whose physical appearance hasn't changed much from the animated design, except the fur on his chest is no longer a lighter shade of blue. However, Nani looks much older in the remake and could pass as a proper legal guardian for Lilo, which works better in reality than in the original animation where Nani was still a teenager. The much older Nani can play a more significant role for the little Lilo, which would further stretch how important family is in the live action in a broader way than it was explored in the original. Also, Nani, being much older, will put the social worker Cobra Bubbles at rest. In the original movie, Cobra was worried about Nani's ability to care for Lilo while threatening to get Lilo into foster care, and now it will be a more realistic theme where it won't just be an 18-year-old looking after a 6-year-old girl. The purpose of the remake remains the same as the original, which was written and directed by Chris Sanders and Dean DeBlois, as the focus was on loneliness, sisterhood, friendship, family with mind-blowing adventures, and a side critic on mass tourism. In the first look at the Lilo and Stitch remake, we saw how Lilo was initially lonely and even voiced her concerns until Stitch came along. Everything became bubbly, with Nani constantly in the picture and ensuring these two unusual friends were kept safe. However, with Lilo just happy to be bonding with Stitch, aliens will come after them because of Stitch, who's an experiment. In the live-action first look, we see aliens like Jumba and Pleakley, who teamed up with the Ground Councilwoman to hire Agent Gantu in search of Stitch. Although we've met some of these aliens in the first look, Gantu is yet to be revealed, which is strange given how he's the main antagonist in the story. But then, the live action might be leaning towards other creative ways to explore his character by not giving much away before the film is released. However, with the constant chase by the aliens looking for Stitch, Lilo and Nani will end up winning the battle. And Stitch won't be the only alien that will be close to the family in the end, which will cure the loneliness that Lilo grew up with before Stitch came into her life. In every Disney remake, there's always controversy and never 100% satisfaction with the cast because many fans have different expectations of what the animated characters look like in real life. So, Disney can only do their best to make sure they cast the best actors that will match the role perfectly, which they did, as the first look at the cast has shown they are capable of carrying the 2002 original film in the same light while adding some even better personality in the remake. The first person to be cast in the live action is Zach Galifianakis, who joined the production in February 2023. The actor was initially reported to be voicing Pleakley, but this was later discovered false, as he's the voice behind Dr. Jumba Jukiba. Shortly after Zach, Maya Kealoha was cast as Lilo in March 2023, following an extensive search to cast the best and most matching actors to portray Lilo and her sister, Nani. Maya, who couldn't believe it when she got the news, revealed her reaction. "When I found out I was going to be Lilo, my jaw dropped, and I couldn't even believe it. I rang my dad and I said, 'I did it, I'm Lilo, I'm Lilo.' And then they grabbed me and we jumped up and down." Initially, Kahiao Machado was cast to play David, Nani's love interest, but then he was let go after his old posts where he used racial slurs resurfaced, and the role was recast with Kaipo Dudwa now playing David. The fans were, however, outraged when Sydney Agadon got cast as Nani. They accused Disney of colorism and demanded that the role be recast, but that never happened. In the first look, we can see Sydney nailing her role and being the best support Lilo needs. While many of the original cast and voices behind the animated characters will not return, some connections link the original to the remake. In the live action, Tia Carrere, who voiced Nani in the original film, will now be the voice behind a new character, Mrs. Kekawa. One of the good things about the live action is that Chris Sanders will be reprising his role as the voice of Stitch, which will retain all the elements and reason why Stitch is everyone's favorite alien project. Even though Stitch is a constant part of this production, his design was revealed in August 2024, and we got a glimpse of his appearance as he came out of an opening in the production's title. The cast behind the voice of Mrs. Hasegawa, Amy Hill, in the animated film now portrays a new character, Tutu, in the remake. This means fans will be meeting new faces and characters who were not part of the original production. Before the official first looks, we got to see the cast on set just doing their thing, and to hide the details of the production they were filming, they decided to use a working title called Bad Dog. Since Stitch was made through CGI and couldn't be seen live on set, a stitched shaped wireframe was used in place of the character while filming, while the rest will be edited in post-production. Lilo and Nani were also spotted on set, including the stunt double for Lilo, as there were a lot of jumping stunts that the young actress needed help with on set. There was also a behind-the-scenes shot of Lilo on the beach, dancing and recreating many vital moments in the original while filming the live action. One of the earlier looks we got from Disney was in the official teaser, where we saw the scenery of the beach and the critical background that will feature in the story before Stitch. The main focus showed up and destroyed a sandcastle while having a great time. This teaser shares a close resemblance to the original film, where Stitch builds and destroys San Francisco in Lilo's room, and another emotional scene involving a sandcastle at the same time. The Hawaiian roller coaster ride plays. The teaser is a nod to how every vital detail and reference will be made to the original in the live action. And now there's a trailer that gives an even bigger hint on what to expect and what each character looks like in the remake. In the trailer, we saw how Stitch escaped to the Earth with similar scenarios that were a significant part of the original film. Then it switched to Lilo and Nani and how their dynamics work as a family when Stitch joins them, while an Elvis Presley song sets the tone for these moments in the trailer. Lilo immediately classifies Stitch as a family when she says, "Ohana means family." Family means nobody gets left behind. Nani completed the sentence by saying, "or forgotten," with Stitch causing chaos and jumping to raid their fridge in the brief moment from the trailer. In the trailer, Pleakley's bob wig is missing, which is not the disguise that will be used in the live action, as Pleakley and Jumba can now fully shapeshift into humans. With all of these great wonders and moments from the Lilo and Stitch animated film coming back on our screens reimagined in live action, the release date has been set carefully to coincide with Memorial Day weekend. This means Lilo and Stitch live action will premiere and be released in theaters on May 23, 2025.